What is up, people? This is Rap Soup. I'm Mike. We got Nick and Matt here, and today we're doing another installment of our Best Rap Album by the Year series. This year is 1997. Another fantastic year of rap music, let me tell you. A lot of good albums came out, a lot of big names, a lot of all-time albums. We got Biggie's last album. Just a lot going on. And, you know, following up 95 and 96, which were both amazing, it's almost like you anticipate a little dip in quality, but we didn't get that at all. It's as good as it could get still. You know, we're being treated to some... the mid-90s is just as good as rap can possibly be. What do you guys think?
I thought it was a little bit of a drop-off, but still really good. There was just more albums that weren't 3 or 4 out of 4. Well, actually, there was only one. I don't think I gave it 2 in 2 years. So if that is any indication of anything, then maybe. But there's still a ton of albums I gave a 4 out of 4.
Yeah, it definitely did not have the volume of amazing albums, but there's still plenty of incredible albums to listen to from 1997, and it's another great year.
Can we talk about how busy Diddy was?
Dude, Diddy was crazy in 97. He had his hand in everything that was going on, it feels like.
Yeah, that was the year of Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Dude, his album, Biggie's album, Jay-Z's album, and Mase's album. Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. Like
they were all 4 out of 4.
I think I gave them all 4 out of 4s. And there were probably other albums that we just didn't listen to that he worked on as well. That guy was he probably didn't sleep too much in 1997.
No. Mans was getting everything done. So pause here if you want to see the albums we listened to this year. So before we get into our top 5, we're going to do some honorable mentions because there's a lot of good albums this year. I'm going to mention 2. First one is Uptown Saturday Night by Camp Lo. This was a really, really fun album. It fits into the title extra well. That's just like the feeling you get from that. Really good rapping, some very different beats that you're not commonly hearing, but that was just a quality listen. And then number 2, Harlem World by Mase. Again, a Diddy album. It was funny on the thing he said, talking about like, I'm not here to replace Biggie, because obviously Diddy was working on all of Biggie's shit and then he's dead, so he like didn't want to be like, oh, this is who I brought in to replace him, or he's like, I'm not replacing him or any of that. Dude, Mase is the smoothest shit possible. His rhyming, the beats he's on, just his voice, everything is just the definition of smooth. And that guy was definitely hammering ass at the clubs. There's no doubt in my mind. Him and Diddy, a different album, in the Mo Money, Mo Problems music video, when they're in the red jumpsuits, it actually doesn't get cooler than that. That is just all-time peak cool New York rap.
All right, my honorable mentions are The Untouchable by Scarface. It was I almost put it in my top 5, but it might be, I don't know. Scarface is so good. This is doing this series and listening to everything from the 90s, I was not appreciating Scarface enough before this. He is all time. He is such a good storyteller. It's definitely an album everyone should listen to. Number 2, my other honorable mention would be I Got Next by KRS-One. I liked it way more than Return of the Boom Bap from 93 or 4, whenever that was, 95. I don't remember. Unbelievable rhyming KRS-One. I only knew one song from there beforehand, the song called A Friend, but that whole album is crazy. There's some weird songs I didn't really like, though, that are like rock songs where he's kind of just like chanting. A little bit kind of like Rage Against the Machine, but his own style, and it wasn't great. But all the other rapping is super good. Company Flow's album, Funcrusher Plus, Never heard that before. That is LP from Run the Jewelz in 1997 when he was 22 years old. Super interesting. It's not the cleanest production ever, but it's super creative, and it's LP at his origins. It's the same kind of shit you've been getting from LP with Run the Jewelz and his later solo albums. Company flows along those lines. And then the last honorable mention I'm going to do is Adrenaline Rush by Twista. It's the earliest example of high quality speed rap that I know of. Crazy that they were doing what Tech Nine was doing in the 2000s in like 1997, but like in Chicago. It's pretty cool. I was reading about it, and I guess Twista's from K-Town, which is all the K streets in between Cicero and Pulaski in Chicago, in like the Garfield, North Lawndale area. And that's just crazy that when we were little kids, he was just a couple miles away doing this. This is what he was up to. What a crazy rapping. It's not for everyone, but it's really impressive.
Dude, I was reading in 94, he was supposed to have an album called Resurrection, and they never put it out because of Commons. And it would have been weird to have two Chicago rappers come out with Resurrection in 94. So they only released it in K-Town.
That's crazy.
Ooh, we gotta find that.
Yeah. Probably pretty weird to listen to now. I have two honorable mentions I want to give out. One is the psychosocial, chemical, biological, and electromagnetic manipulation of human consciousness by Jedi Mind Tricks. Probably the longest album title of all time. And I hadn't heard of Jedi Mind Tricks before as an underground group from the 90s, 2000s, but I never really listened, and this album is crazy. It's a little too much at times, so it didn't make my top 5, but they're rapping, what they're talking about, like religion, war, it's dark, it's weird, but it's really good. Highly recommend if you're into some weird underground stuff. And then kind of along those lines is Sex Style by Kool Keith. Another really weird album, you know, going along with what he's doing as Dr. Octagon in 96. He's just such a good rapper. It wasn't my favorite album because there are some pornographic skits that I wasn't too big on, but the parts where he's rapping are so good and definitely make it worth listening to.
So now we're going to get into our top 5s. I'm going to start at my number 5, an album I never heard before, an album I actually never even heard of before, The War Report by Capone and Noreaga. That was a shockingly really, really sick. Those two going back and forth, just terrifying beats, everything. Quality album. Number 3, I had No Way Out by Diddy. This was some high-level commercial rap music. It made you happy. There were some sad songs on it. You got a lot of Biggie. It was heavy in features, but I'm fine with that because I don't love Diddy as a rapper, but this is probably gonna be my favorite project he ever did as like his title. Number 3, The 18th Letter by Rakim. Rakim, when he was with Eric B. and Rakim, was so sick, but personally, I like his solo stuff just a little more. I don't know if anybody could rhyme as good as him. There's a couple people, but Rakim's rhyming is off the chain. Number 2, I had Wu-Tang Forever, the ultimate rap album in a way. 2 hours of boom bap and lyrics is so sick. That's like the pinnacle of what rapping is. Nice two-sided album. And then number 1, I had Life After Death by Biggie. I don't know what needs to be said. Another 2-hour album, but it's just as good as it gets.
All right, so for my top 5, I had at number 5, The War Report by Capone and Noreaga. Like you said, Mike, I had never heard of this before, but I loved it. Gave me Mobb Deep vibes, kind of. It was awesome. Number 4, I had The 18th Letter by Rakim. Like Mike said, he was awesome with Eric B, but this album, it was a team of like Clark Kent, DJ Premier, Pete Rock. The beats were insane, and Rakim was doing his thing. Great album. Number 3, I had Wu-Tang Forever. I think this is RZA at his best, and it's like 2 hours, so not every song is amazing, but at least 90% of it is amazing. I love Wu-Tang. Number 2, I had In My Lifetime Volume 1 by Jay-Z. It might be my favorite Jay-Z album. I don't know why, but it's like Volume 1 of Jay-Z. It's like, this is, I don't know. There's something about it. The beats, it was like a new sound. Jay-Z's so cool. I love that album. I think I said I love that album after every album. And number 1, you gotta put Life After Death by Biggie. It's another really long album, almost 2 hours, but it's Biggie. He's giving you the stories. He's giving you the rapping. The beats are crazy. Awesome.
All right. My 5th favorite album of the year is When Disaster Strikes by Busta Rhymes. It's his second album. I liked it more than the first one. And at the time, after this album, at the time, he was definitely one of the best rappers on earth. He could not have been. It was before he got into his really fast stuff, and he was just doing a lot of rhyming. No one else sounded like him. The songs, all you have to do is listen to Rhymes Galore to hear that. My 4th favorite album is Jewelz by OC. I forget what year it was. It was either I think it was 1994. What was that album called? What Next or something? It was like
Word Life?
Word Life, yeah, Word Life. I was really into that. I think I gave it an honorable mention that year. But this album, did it sound pretty... Did you guys listen to it? Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Did it sound pretty ahead of its time? To me, it sounded like it was ahead of its time a couple years. It was just really good rapping. Mm-hmm. Number 3, gonna have to do Wu-Tang Forever. Super long. That was like the first album I listened to when we started 1997. It was just so long, but the whole thing is sick. I think I like the second side better than the first side, side B. Mm-hmm. Number 2, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, Jay-Z. It's in my top 5 Jay-Z albums. Some of the earliest songs of Jay-Z that I remember from here, I've always been into it. And then number 1, Life After Death, because you can't not put that. And it might be the greatest 2-sided album ever. Maybe. We'll see.
All right. So that means, by unanimous decision, Life After Death is crowned the top album of 1997. And when we were looking at all the albums beforehand, it was kind of to be expected that this was going to happen. Maybe there was the chance that like Wu-Tang would take it over, but it's Biggie. He had 2 albums alive, and they're both as good as albums could really be. It's just, you had a lot of highs, like fast, happy shit, and like powerful shit, and then you had what you come to expect with Biggie, some personal, introspective, emotional stuff. The album kind of had everything. And like I said, Diddy's production on it, man knew how to work.
What are your guys' top 3 songs on Life After Death?
So my top 3 favorite songs, I'm not going to go in order. It's I Love the Dough. It's just so goddamn smooth. That's so fun. Number 2, or second one, is Notorious Thugs. It's one of the few songs that have a super duper long intro that I'm still into, but the build up is just all time. And then also for number 3, 10 Crack Commandments. It's just as influential of a song as there is. It's super important to rap history, and everyone knows it. And it's just a straight up classic.
Yeah, my 3 favorite are also pretty similar to yours. I have I Love the Dough. As you said, unbelievably smooth. me and Matt were talking last week. Like, what if this was actually what their life was? And I don't know, man. That song is crazy. I also had Notorious Thugs. Biggie coming in on that beat is unreal. It is like, I was not expecting it the first time I heard it, and it's not a way that he usually rapped, so it was really cool, and it went so hard. And I don't know who else is on that song, but those guys are also crazy. And
Notorious
Bone
Thugs?
Thugs in Harmony.
Is it Bone Thugs? Oh,
Yeah.
good job, Bone Thugs. Great song. And I also had What's Beef. That song is terrifying to me. When he comes in with that little laugh and then starts rapping, and it's like the violin in the background. Dude, it's scary. You don't want to be fucking with Biggie Smalls.
Okay. All right. My top three, no order, are Hypnotize. That's the first one I knew of. Used to rap that on the bus on the way to basketball games when I was like 13. Another, featuring Lil' Kim. That's one of my favorite beats of all time. God damn it, what's that sample? It's like Barbara something. It's a song from the 80s.
Barbara Streisand?
No. I'd have to look it up.
Like, what
but
do
it's
you
a
do if your bitches are true?
yeah. It's called. The song is called "Another Man," and it's like one of my favorite samples ever. And then my favorite song. It's also my favorite song of the year of 1997, and it's one of the best rap songs of all time and most underrated. I Love the Dough, featuring Jay-Z. It's one of the best songs of all time. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
Dude, it's just a straight up masterpiece of an album. It sucks that was the last living album we got from him.
It's because that was the whole thing. It was crazy that it came out after he was dead, and it was called Life After Death.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird.
And his
Dude, he was
first
only
album was Ready
24.
to Die.
Mm-hmm.
He was only 24. It's so crazy.
It's crazy to think that he had that voice at age 24.
Yeah, dude. He was like, by 21, he was larger than life. And by 27, it was like beyond. You can't even fathom.
Yeah. He feels way older.
He presented himself as someone who had been doing it for a long time.
An ageless wonder.
And
Type shit.
and he was convincing.
Absolutely. It doesn't feel like it was a kid.
No.
Ever. Alright, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Do you agree with our list? Do you not agree? Let us know. We reply to every comment, so please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Because most of the people watching these videos are not subscribed, and we'd like that number to go up so you could watch more of our videos. So, thank you for watching, and peace out.